Bon dia, goedemorgen, hello, good morning to everybody. Dank u wel om hier aanwezig te zijn. Mijn naam is Eunice Eijsten, ik ben uw host voor vandaag. We hebben vandaag even wat technische problemen, onze excuses daarvoor. Er is een probleem met het inloggen van juist degene die wij zouden moeten gaan interviewen, samen met Erasmus+. Dus ik vraag u nog 1 minuut geduld. Dank je. Ja, bon dia. Daar zijn we weer. De technische problemen zijn nog niet opgelost. Dus we gaan een alternatief programma starten. In de hoop dat Jason van We Love2Learn Foundation alsnog kan aanschuiven, waardoor Marloes van het agentschap Erasmus Plus een interview kan houden, waardoor het veel duidelijker wordt wat en hoe het programma zich voltrekt in de praktijk. We zijn ontzettend blij u te mogen ontvangen op deze speciale dag, want het is onze lustrumviering. 5 jaar EU-desk is niet niks. We hebben 5 jaar geploeterd en gewerkt in samenwerking met alle agentschappen. En ik moet zeggen dat Erasmus Plus een van de programma's zijn waar Curaçao het meest gebruik van maakt. En dat willen we zo houden, maar we willen het ook uit laten bouwen. Dus vandaar dat wij dus vandaag dit bestarten met Erasmus Plus. Ik hoop dat u allen ook de andere programma's zult bezoeken straks. Want we hebben een heel programma de hele week met heel veel interessante sprekers. En gezien de tijd wil ik meteen het woord geven aan... oh ja, ik heb nog een paar huishoudelijke mededelingen. Het moet voor je duidelijk zijn dat we livestreamen op Facebook. Dus het zal ook recorded worden. Dat is al aangekondigd. Maar als u iets wilt sharen in de vragen, in de chat, of een vraag heeft, feel free to do that. Oké, Marloes, the floor is yours.
Ja, goedemiddag allemaal. Ik ben Marloes Winkel en ik werk voor het Nationaal Agentschap Erasmus Plus. Dat betekent ook dat ik me in een iets andere tijdzone bevind dan jullie allemaal. Ik werk namelijk vanuit Den Haag. En daar is het nu 2:15 's middags. Voor jullie is het nog 's ochtends, heb ik begrepen. En ik wil jullie graag wat vertellen over het programma Erasmus Plus. In afwachting hopelijk van Jason. Hij heeft een eigen organisatie op Sint Maarten. Ik zie dat hij nu ook echt binnenkomt.
Ja.
En ik zou hem heel graag een aantal vragen willen stellen, zodat hij jullie eigenlijk kan vertellen wat Erasmus Plus allemaal kan betekenen. Ik spreek altijd met Jason in het Engels. Ik hoop dat dat voor jullie allemaal geen probleem is.
Nee.
Want dan kunnen we daar straks gewoon mee van start. Dat lijkt me fijn.
Yes. Hi, Jason. Finally. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. I'm doing well. It was a trouble getting on, but I'm finally on.
Thank you for joining us. Marloes just was telling our audience today that you will be the example of a best practice. So because we are already late, I think we can start immediately. Isn't it, Marloes?
Yes,
Maybe
that would be
you
great.
can introduce yourself, Jason. Marloes already did.
My name is Jason Wiiliams. Been residing in St. Martin for the last 30 plus years.
10 plus. Mm-hmm.
I started in Erasmus 5 years ago when I participated in my first Erasmus project in Greece on a youth exchange. And I've realized how important it was for we to be a part of it. Erasmus Plus haven't been something that St. Martin knew about before until 7 years ago when it was first introduced to St. Martin by a lady that came from the UK. Then we had an opportunity to participate in an international exchange. I saw the benefit of it and I decided, okay, this is something that we really need as an island within the European Union. And since then, in 2020, I decided to start my own organization to really push Erasmus so we could have created more opportunities for locals on the island because we lack activities such as these. And before, it was way difficult for opportunity to come to us as youngsters in a country where we are part of Europe, but yet we are not a part of Europe because we are far from the mainland. So this have really brought inspiration to us. I've been a youth worker for the last 25 years. I've been doing youth work as a youth mentor, social worker, working with the community in the rural areas because even though we are part of the European Union, or we are part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the island itself experienced a lot of poverty and the lack of opportunity, the lack of provided opportunity from Europe to us have been lacking for decades. And I devoted myself to create opportunities for our local youngsters where they can have opportunity to really develop themselves.
Yeah.
And it was a challenge for me. So after that, I realized the crime rate were increasing and information were difficult. So I joined the law enforcement as an immigration officer where we could have do more. But then I realized that wasn't enough. So it pushed me to start my own foundation where I could have actually created more opportunities for youngsters where we could have actually give them a chance of hope, a chance to the future, a chance where they feel that they belong to something, where they can experience something that they would have never experienced on their own. And for me, this is what I try my best to do at all times.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That is actually a great goal to work towards. You started your Erasmus Plus project last year, I think.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the project that you're currently working on? What are you doing, and who is your target group? What have you done so far?
Um, I wanted to write a project where create, where we could have find a more understanding of the issues that we are facing. So the thing is, we as an island, we form the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and we are an overseas territory of the European Union, but we lack the opportunity that is given to most European territories because of our constitution. And there was a sense of division within our system, education system, where we been fighting between a European system and a Caribbean system. And I wanted a deeper understanding of our educational system to see where our system was lacking, whether we were lacking the knowledge provided to our youths, or our youths wasn't being in touch with the system. And when we write this project, we wanted to see how we could have conduct research within the educational system so we could have get a deeper understanding of what we need and how we should go forward. And when the project got approved, it was one of the happiest times because we got to really dive deep. I wanted it to be meaningful. I wanted it to be impactful. And I wanted to get the best result that we could have got possible. And since then, the partners who were involved in the project were mainly university from Europe. And on our first mobility, when they came to St. Martin, it was mind blowing at the same time, tremendous because they got to see what the level of education is. How do we prepare students for the secondary level? and they did an examination on our system, and they spoke with the teachers. They did webinars with the teachers. They showed the teachers how COVID transformed them into a new era where we didn't even reach that level. And for us, even though the same subjects that were being taught that we teach in the school, we realized that the way it was being brought across was so different from what we knew, that we were like, okay, this is something that we really need, because it allowed our teachers to see life from a different perspective. They were so amazed by the difference that they learned within that short space of 5 days that they didn't even knew possible from before.
Yeah,
So
that's
that project was
basically
really,
that is
yeah,
basically what Erasmus Plus is all about, getting to see how things work in other countries, in different cultures, in different organizations. So it's great to hear that that's exactly what you experienced. Can we go back just a little bit to the time before you applied for the Erasmus Plus grant? Could you tell us a little bit
okay.
more about how you heard about Erasmus Plus and what eventually inspired you to apply for a grant?
So the thing is, in 2017, there was this young man from Turkey who actually came to St. Martin and they did a project here. And they knew about it. So they started doing projects on the island. And for them, really, it was good. But then for us, there was something lacking, because we had participants coming to St. Martin every year for projects, but we had no participants leaving St. Martin. For me, it was difficult to really understand what it was about, because the information wasn't being given out the way we should have learned. And at the time, they were training me to be a facilitator. And the more and more I learned, the more I got interested. And I met this gentleman from Malta who came on a training course in 2018, and they started explaining to me what is Erasmus. At first, it sounded crazy, because we never knew any institution within Europe that actually provided opportunities for young people, much less for we who were way far from Europe. So when this information came and I started to research, and the more I researched, they saw that there was something about me that they started to encourage me, you need to do it. And then I was speaking with one of a partner of mine in Italy, and he explained me what I need to do. So I said, okay. I started the organization, but I didn't know how to register to become a Erasmus someone within the application. And by speaking to different people, I started to try. I made a lot of mistakes because it was new to me. I didn't knew the platform. I didn't know how to register. But by figuring it out here and there, I got in. Then I needed to write my first project. But the problem is, because of the application is there, the the application guide is also there, but for some reason there's a lot of difficulties when you never dealt with it before. And we were having a lot of difficulties because it was the first time for us. This is the first time we actually doing something like this. I ended up meeting up with got in contact with a lady from Turkey, and she started to explain to me how the application is, how the writing process is. And she opened a Google Drive, and we started to write. I started to give her my ideas, what I want to do, and she started to put it together. And I will say she was really, really helpful in getting this project written, because I didn't know where to start.
Yes, I can
But
imagine. The whole process can be quite complicated, especially when you do it for the first time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I think it's good here to add that yeah, it's unfortunate that you didn't know about us, about the national agency, because we are here to help everyone who is interested in applying for a grant. So to everyone who is listening, I'd like to say that you're very welcome to get in touch with us. I could later share a link to our website and also to some of our email addresses so that you can get in touch with us if you have any questions about the application process, or if you just want to know more about the program or know more about the opportunities that are there, or basically anything. You can always ask us about it, and we are really happy to help. It's a bit too late for you now, Jason, unfortunately, but yeah, we're to everyone else, we would really like to help you
it's
if
understandable.
you appreciate it. Yeah.
Marloes, I want to add on that the EU desk is also here in Curacao. Jason, I sad to hear that you didn't know also about the EU desk, because we had also
No,
several presentations in the past, because this is our lustrum. We are celebrating 5 years of EU Desk, and
okay,
we also give courses on how to write applications. So if anybody, especially on Curacao, needs some help, you can always get in touch with us. And of course also with Erasmus Plus, because we work together.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities to get help.
Yeah,
So really, if you need it, don't hesitate and ask one of us. Yeah.
I have a question, Marloes, because I read that it isn't allowed anymore to let somebody write your proposal. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, the main goal of Erasmus Plus, the reason that the European Union spends so many euros each year on Erasmus Plus, is to give the opportunity to organizations to get experienced with internationalization and to learn from people from other countries. And what we've seen in the past few years is that especially smaller organizations hired companies who would write the proposal for them. And since it's an educational program, we really want organizations to learn from their experience. So yeah, this kind of messed up the whole idea of learning from your experience. So that's why the European Commission decided to eliminate the idea of private companies who earn money on writing Erasmus proposals.
Okay.
And instead, we have these opportunities to help you writing it, because it's not only about your students or your pupils, your clients learning from the experience, but also the organizations themselves.
Okay.
So it's allowed to get help, but you cannot really hire another organization to write your proposal for you. That's correct. Yes.
And you even have, as Erasmus Plus agentschap, writing sessions, don't you?
Yes.
Are they also
yes.
online?
I think most of them are not online, but if there is a need for it, we will definitely do it.
Okay.
Right now, we do not have that many organizations from one of the islands who are interested, but if there is an interest in it, we will definitely organize it, because we're also looking for ways to get in touch more with all the islands, actually. So we would definitely be interested in doing that. What we do organize online are advisory meetings. This is for organizations who already have quite a concrete idea about what they want to do, but they would like to get some advice on the project, on how to maybe formulate it better, or get to know some of the more detailed stuff of the program. So we do organize advisory meetings for that. And there's actually, I think yesterday, a news article was posted on our website introducing these advisory meetings again, because we will do them in January and February. So if you're interested, you can definitely have a look at our website, erasmusplus.nl, and then you can read all about it.
Okay.
Or you can send us an email. That's also fine. Yeah. Jason, I have one more question for you, because you already told us a little bit about your vision on what Erasmus Plus could be for St. Martin. Could you tell us a little bit more about it? What do you think Erasmus Plus could mean for organizations like you, and what could it help them accomplish in St. Martin or any of the other Caribbean diasporas?
Okay. For this year, when I decided to really take Erasmus Plus to another level, I can actually say that for the first time since we've started, that I actually have 53 persons travel 4 different mobilities throughout Europe in 1 year.
Oh my God,
And
that's great.
to see that we could have actually given more than 35 youths the opportunity to visit a different country for the first time. A majority of them was the first time they ever got to travel. Um, it
Nice.
brought happiness. While they were there, there was one group that went to Georgia in April, and they called on the phone with tears in their eyes at 16, 17. And I'm asking them what happened. They see snow and they were crying.
Yeah. Oh, that's very lovely.
So I could have imagined. And then in in January, I had a group with me because I went to Croatia to meet with a partner for the first time. And there was a group of 4 teachers from different schools that traveled with me. And one of the days it started to snow. And I looked at those teachers in their 30s and 40s outside in the snow with their mouth open, tasting the ice for the first time in their life. And it was like, this is to see adults act like kids because of something that they have never experienced. It's it's something I don't even know how words to explain.
Yes,
And
that's
for
very
me,
special.
it's the only way that I can give those opportunities. I'm hoping that for 2024, I can double the number that I have traveling. I can say for 2024, 100 other students and teachers got the opportunity to travel, because it's not easy for a teacher to come up with 2,000 euros to go on a vacation. But through through the project, we can give them that opportunity where they can visit universities and actually be on that campus, see how the education system is, learn from other professors and teachers. And this is what I want to create. This is the opportunity I want to give, where we can take the youth from rural areas, the youth who comes from foreign parents, who, I don't want to use the word discriminated, but there's a lot of discrimination, even though it's not about the color, but it's about the race of where they come from. Because of some youths who comes from better countries than others, they are discriminated on the others, or because of their poverty, they are looked down upon. And in the last few years, we have realized that a lot of our youngsters are becoming more suicidal because of the lack of opportunities, the lack of openness that is being presented to them. And because it's sad to say that our government doesn't see the importance of what we're doing, they feel that there is no hope or no future for them in the long run. Many of them graduate out of school and they can't find a proper job, or they can't, the parents doesn't have the funds to send them away to study, or they doesn't have a Dutch passport to try and seek scholarship. It makes it more difficult. So with these programs, we give them the opportunity to visit Europe, see what schools looks like, see what the environment looks like. And right now, through the program, we're working with this young lady who she's a volunteer within the organization. And I'm busy speaking with one of my coalition partners to take her in as a volunteer because the university that she applies requires it. And they're willing to take her for 3 months that she could be a volunteer within the organization. So she could get that experience. And this is the direction that I'm going because I tired of seeing youngsters just being on the block or throwing their life away because there are no opportunity or no one sees the need or the necessity to create more opportunities for them.
Mhm.
So, could you tell us a bit more about the skills that the participants in your project have learned so far? Because you mentioned quite a lot of new experiences. And I think the theme of this EU week was skills.
Yeah.
So did they also acquire certain skills because of their mobilities or because of the projects that you're doing?
Yeah. The thing about it is, like for a lot of them, we how to put it, soft skills is not something that is common within our communities, where most youngsters doesn't have the opportunity to be hands-on. And so it's like either you on the streets or you in your books, but the cooperation is not there. And what we have realized in a lot of the projects is that our local youngsters are having a lot of difficulties when it comes to the soft skills. How do you come together? How do you research together? How do you work on an idea together? How do you do a short presentation together? How do you present yourself or someone else's country just by having a one-to-one conversation? Or the activities where we do the name games or the secret friend games, where one of them is like, okay, our secret friend asks to do a group hug. We're still having a lot of our locals, especially in the male figures, that the openness to hug another guy is still a taboo to many of them. So we're still having a lot of stigmatization through the mobilities because of what they are accustomed of. The openness to accepting different way of life is still a challenge to many of our youngsters. But the idea of they having to do a presentation, create their own presentation, do a presentation about themselves, how to express themselves in words for someone else to understand. Just those simple things we having a lot of difficulties in with. But then we also realizing how it allows them to open up, to see things differently. Um, Before they only knew the circle that they accustomed of. But now it create it created a challenge where they have to share a room. Not a room with the same color, but a room with a different color. A room with someone that they never met before. They have to share the same bathroom with four, five, six different females or male that they never saw in their life. And it creates a challenge for them to adjust to that way just for those days. But by the time it's done, the bond that it creates in within them, it's like beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, speaking with the teachers at the end, they would talk how much they see a change in that particular student, or how that student become more helpful, or how that student now they don't need to ask to do something. The student take the initiative to do it because it allowed them to see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole aim about what we're doing.
Thank you so much. So is there anything you would like to say to the people who are listening now and who consider applying for a grant? Do you have any recommendations for them?
Oh, can I ask a question before that one, Marloes?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Jason, very nice experiences. What about the parents? Are they, when you invite young people to travel on the mobilities, how do the parents react? Is that a problem?
Wow. Okay, so how do I explain it? We raise up in Americanized system where NBC, CNN News have been our news
Huh.
information for the last decades. And what have been put on the media is that countries like Romania, Greece, Turkey, those Balkans countries, um, women are sold into slavery and into prostitution, and they kill people and people disappear, and it have been negativity for the past years. So for me, it poses one of the biggest challenge to call a meeting. I sit down with parents. I said, okay, I'm gonna take your child and I'm gonna send your child on a trip for the first time where they go into somewhere where they have nobody. And the parents is like, why are you trying to sell my child into slavery? And I'm like, Mom,
Mm.
this is not the idea. But for them, it's hard to understand what we do because Europe has, over the years, Europe were presented to us as one of the most dangerous place on earth.
Mm.
And the negativity now, it's hard breaking that negativity.
And how is
Um,
it afterwards when the children return home?
it's like, um, Mr. Williams, when is the next time my child is going to travel? You have another one coming up.
Okay, okay.
So the excitement that they brings to me, it's like,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because now they realize that the child comes back changed, the child comes back excited, the child comes back with a different point of view. They go scared and they come back happy. And in most of the mobilities where our youngsters actually travel, most of them would be at the airport crying because of this whole colonization that took place in the past. A lot of people still have this racial discrimination about white and black. And I'm trying to tell them, listen, we in a new era. This white or black separation or division should be a thing of the past. We embrace equality. We want to bring about a change. And I always try to tell them, I said, what I do, it's not about race, but it's about we showing the world who we are, what we about, and what we can do. If we are given the opportunity, we can make a difference.
Mm.
And one of my slogan is, we are agents of change. We don't want to think the way our parents think. We don't want to do the things the way our parents did, but we want to embrace this new world. We want to come where there is no white or black, or there is no color, but we are equal. And this is one of the reasons why the mobilities are so important to me, because it gives our young people a different point of view to life.
Okay.
I think that's what Erasmus Plus is all about. Our motto is changing lives, opening minds, and I think you did a very good job of showing exactly that, Jason. Thank you so
I'm
much.
trying.
I'd like to add one thing to that, because now we've mainly talked about children and young people. So there might be some people listening to this thinking, oh, I don't really work with children or youngsters. There are different educational sectors in which you can apply for a grant. So you can apply for a grant in primary and secondary education. You can also apply for vocational and education and training. You can apply for higher education if you work at a university, for example, or a university college. And you can also apply for adult education. That's the team that I work for, so that's what I know most about. And adult education is all about vulnerable adults or adults in a vulnerable position who, in one way or another, experience difficulties to fully participate in society or in the labor market. So you can, if you wish, if you work with that target group, you can definitely apply for an Erasmus Plus grant as well. It's a bit of a contrast with what you just told, Jason. You talked about children going away from their parents. In adult education, we sometimes see parents traveling and leaving their children at home and finally discovering who they are. So this is, I'd like to stress that this is also an opportunity. If you work with a different target group, you can also apply for Erasmus Plus. And it's probably also good to add that we've mainly talked about mobilities today. This is a very important part of Erasmus Plus, but besides those mobilities, it's also possible to do a cooperation project, a cooperation partnership, in which you work towards a certain product together with partners from all over Europe. So this is a little bit different than the mobilities where traveling is the main goal of the grant. In the cooperation partnerships, the main goal is to create something together. Often this is a learning course, for example, or a training or an ebook, something like that. And you can work with your partners towards that end goal, that end product, and mobilities are often a means to get to that end. So mobilities are also a part of these projects, but they are not the main goal. So this is very briefly two of the opportunities that there are in the program. If you'd like to know more, you could definitely give us a call or write an email, because we would be happy to tell you more about the programs that we have.
Okay. Maybe it's also very useful to tell something about a partner search, finding the right partner for your project, because you can't do it on your own. You have to find partners elsewhere in Europe, not in the Netherlands, because that's not an extended part.
Officially, we are the same country, right?
Yes, that's right. So maybe you can explain something about that?
Yes, there are several ways to find partners. Jason, you just gave us the example of partners that were already in your network. So this is an opportunity. We see that many organizations already know their partners and are looking for a way to sustain their cooperation. There are also several European platforms that could help you find a partner. For primary and secondary education, there's, for example, eTwinning, where you can find partners. For adult education, we have a platform called EPALE. It is written EPALE. This is the European platform for adult learning. And this is also a place where you can meet organizations from all over Europe who are interested in doing an Erasmus project. And you could even write or introduce yourself on this platform and ask for other organizations to join your project if you already have a complete idea of what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the options.
Okay.
Can I say something though? Regarding partners, one of the things that I've realized is that there are different type of partnerships within the framework where you do find genuine partners who see the less experienced and really wants to help those develop themselves, and you have those who sees the vulnerability of less experienced partners and really try to take advantage. Being in the Caribbean, working with partners have been, I don't want to use the word a nightmare, but have really posed a lot of challenges because there's no way of vetting a partner to know who they really are or how sincere they really are.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happened in the past, a lot of them have tried to take advantage of me, seeing that I was a newcomer because I didn't have the experience in the platform or how to negotiate. And it takes time, you're gonna find, but now it's about what you really want. And most people came into the platform because they saw the opportunity, whether it poses an opportunity to travel or it posed an opportunity to get a little extra money, whatever they tried to get from it. But for me, it was more about either you share the same vision that I want to develop my people and country, or we don't work. And a lot of partners doesn't want to work with newcomers because being a newcomer poses a lot more work on them because they
Mm-hmm.
have to do most of the work. They have to teach you how to go about doing it, and a lot of them doesn't like it. So it's about finding people who want to help you develop, people who wants to help you to grow, people who wants the best not just for themselves but for the others around them. And this is the hard partners to find.
Yeah.
Even in the Netherlands, I meet partners within Netherlands who just wants to do this for the name and send their own people away because not all of them are Dutch. So it poses a lot of challenges. But at the same time, having the right partnership actually creates beautiful moment because then they help you to find figure out who you really are, help you to understand the platform differently, and by having them, they help you yourself to develop because they would not encourage you to do wrong, but the first thing that would be ask your national agency how to do this, contact your national agency before this go wrong because they have your best interests at heart. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the kind of a partners that you would want to work with.
Yes.
In the other thing about partner finding, there is the platform that called Salto, where there is projects that they post up throughout the year, either by the national agency or different organization doing project, which you can apply for. Now, one of the things that I did in the first year, I travel to different projects, meet different organizations, sit with them, speak with them, see where the motive is, see where what the vision is, and through that I built my partners. This is one of the ways that I use to find partners. Now that I am more established, when someone asks to work with me, I said, okay, listen, before I work with you, I need you to invite me to a project. Let
Yeah.
me come and see the way you work. Let me see what you do. Let me see the way you deal with your youths before I can say yes. Because St. Martin for almost the whole of Europe, everyone wants to come St. Martin because they see paradise. But
Yeah.
for me right now, it's not about you coming to paradise. But if you
Mm-hmm.
come to St. Martin, we're gonna execute the project that we say we're gonna do.
Yeah. And
And
the traveling you did, finding new partners, is that also based on a project funded by the Erasmus Plus?
yes, some
Okay.
of them were funded by Erasmus Plus, some were funded by me personally. So there are times where instead of I traveling to go somewhere else on vacation, I will take a week. For instance, this year I took a month and I spent the entire month in Europe. And I
Mhm.
went from Croatia to Hungary to the Netherlands to Bulgaria to Turkey to meet partners because
Okay.
Yes.
we are
The
not in mainland Europe where traveling is easy. And when you're dealing with people so far away, they can intend on taking advantage. And I don't believe in this online social networking where we communicate by email because I don't know you. And it's one thing when you and a partner has an agreement, and when the time comes, they change that agreement, which
Yeah.
is one of the issues that I had in my project where they started to make certain demands which I wasn't aware that in a K2 project when you're doing a partnership or a small scale partnership project that if you're working with a university, the university can actually assist with the financing of the project. But
Mm.
what was happening was that the university were trying to take more money from us for the project than put adding in towards the project. So we needed to let them go and add in a new partner. So these are some of the issues that I faced that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
But
Did
now
you
that
learn
I have
from them?
experienced it, I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's also good to add the Salto platform. We sometimes post events that are organized by national agencies, so not just the Dutch national agency, but the other European national agencies. They host events as well. We call them training and cooperation activities, or
Mhm.
TCAs for short. And you can participate in those. They often focus on a certain theme, an Erasmus related theme, of course. And if you apply for participating in a TCA, the national agency will actually pay for your expenses of going there. So this is also a very good way to meet other people who are interested in Erasmus Plus, who want to work on it, who are most of the time also very serious about it because that's why they choose to participate. So this is also a very good way to learn more about Erasmus Plus and get to know people from all over Europe who are working on topics similar to yours.
Mhm. And how often are these TCEs organized by Erasmus Plus? Once a year, I think.
They are not regularly organized. They are always based on a certain topic or a certain part of the project cycle.
Okay.
So it's not that every year the same TCAs happen. The national agencies, they decide what they want to organize and when they do it. So it's very
Okay.
good to check the Salto website and see if there's something that you're interested in and then apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to mention a question posed by Lidwien Sloothouwer to Jason. Can you tell about the Eco Habit Matter project and how you see young people change their attitude towards the environment and adopt green habits?
We for that project, it took place. We had one part in St. Martin and another part in Georgia, and recycling haven't been something that we as a country ever took serious. So for our young people participating in recycling, it was a bit of a challenge for them, especially it being something new. But then after the project, they had to show how to recycle in the school. and how to separate trash and how to show care and concern for trash. It's still a bit of a challenge because it not something that was adapted by the entire school or adapted as a country. So what one of the challenges that we are facing is that participants travel for a certain type of project, but then when they come back, it's difficult to implement it or make it something island wide. So we still waiting to see how those gonna take place. Um, we we have a meeting with our Minister of Education that we actually trying to get the government itself to take these projects more seriously and see the impact that it brings to the people within the communities, that so they now can see it and embrace it to help us to really put the good practices to use. So this is one of the things now that we are focusing on and hope that in 2024 we can actually get somewhere with it within the communities.
Okay. So maybe there are more questions at the moment. This is the time to ask. I don't see.
Is there an option for me, Eunice, to write down certain links and certain email addresses so that people can check them out? Because I don't think there is a common chat with all
Yes.
participants.
I see here from, oh no, it's a thank you from Lidwien Slothauer. Yeah. Okay. So you can proceed, Marloes.
Yes, I would like to write down some links and email addresses if that's possible, but as far as I can see, the chat is not available for all participants, or maybe I can.
Is it available? It is available.
I can write to the panel members and to the hosts, but not to all participants, as
Not
far
all
as I can see.
participants. I am not so good in these technical things.
But if
so-
you share them within our setting, then the other facilitators can share it with the
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, oh, that would be great, because then I will write down the website of Erasmus Plus, so the website of our national agency. It's erasmusplus.nl. I will also write down the email addresses that we have for the different educational sectors. So I will share those with you. And I will send you a link to a website of the EU itself, where they have written down every rule that you can think of in their program guide. If you're really interested, this is something that you could read, but I would recommend that you first look at our website to get a more easier understanding of the options that there are in the program. So I will write those to you in the chat, and then you can share them with everyone who's listening. Jason, would you like to say anything to everyone who's listening and who's considering applying for an Erasmus grant? Do you have any recommendations for them?
I would, for those who wants to write, it's good because once you're not doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for others, because I think about others more than I think about myself. And for me, this have been one of the happiest moments for me. Now, for some, it may be difficult. How do you link whether you're dealing with primary school or secondary school or adult education or cooperation and partnerships? They all have a link. It's to find the understanding of that link. In the mobility that we did in Portugal for my project, one of the links that I did was how do you create a comparison between the different levels of education. Now, primary school educates students for secondary school, while secondary school teachers educate students for university level. But if the three can't understand each other, then education becomes a blunder. So we had a group setting where university, secondary, and high school and primary school sat in one room and there was an open discussion. Now, at first, the teachers felt that it was useless having primary school with secondary teachers having a discussion. But then when I brought my reasoning to the table, explaining that if a primary school teacher doesn't understand the secondary level of education, how do they prepare the students? Or if the secondary schools teacher doesn't understand the university curriculum, how can they prepare the students? So then they realize that, okay, it is important for all levels to have an understanding of each other. Now, here in St. Martin, social work and education is different. So in the educational system, they have guidance counselors that deals with students on an educational level, whereas we as social workers deal with students on an emotional level. But in the past, we never worked hand in hand. So during this project, we were able to come across explaining the importance of how we as youth workers impact students from a different angle, where we understand students more emotionally because we deal with ethnicity, background, race, emotional traumas, and what affects a students in learning. And those issues that we can bring across to the schools, because the schools then would not understand that the psychological trauma that affects the child at home affects their learning. And these were things that we could have actually bring across because of what we realize in the different research of projects that we're doing. In adult education is different. With adult education, most adults feel that they don't need to learn something because it's not a value to them. So for us, doing adult education projects is good because then we use the smaller settings to show adults that, listen, learning doesn't have to be complicated. Learning can be fun. It's just the setting that you use or you apply learning in that makes it difficult. So by using soft skills in the project, we realize that, okay, you know what? It's different just by having different conversations, because people tend to discriminate against each other because of their, how you say, their sense of experience of what they have been through in the past or what they did in the past. They tend to discriminate on one another. So when we use this setting, we try to use it where different people from different backgrounds share the point of view. And just by allowing that to happen, we tend to see our adults start to think. They don't say much, but they start to think. And then they start to realize, okay, It's not about you, it's not about what you're accustomed of, but it's embracing something different. You don't need to accept it, but you just need to understand that it's a difference. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Accept diversity.
yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, I think we came to an end. Let me see. I think. Okay, there is one more question from Angelique van der Berg. How did you do it with your government to get recognition for your foundation? I have a foundation started here on Curacao with really nice trainings. I wrote myself to educate, but the people here are telling me that I only can do this when I will be registered by SVB. I think it's hard.
So what is necessary for us, if you apply for a grant, is that you're formally established as a foundation. And what we use for that is an extract from the Chamber of Commerce. And I think most foundations and companies already are. I don't really know what you mean by SVB.
Ja, Sociale Verzekeringsbank. Dat,
Okay.
ja,
I haven't heard of
that criteria, never. No.
no. So the Chamber of Commerce is what you really need. Then there are some European documents that you have to fill out during the application process. But these also only acquire the a number from the Chamber of Commerce. So I think that is the main thing that you need.
Yes.
And if you have any more specific questions about this, we could of course schedule a meeting to help you get started.
Yeah, great. That's a great opportunity. Yeah. Okay.
Can I say one more thing though?
Oh yeah.
Okay, when I registered my foundation, I registered it on a list of within as a nonprofit organization within the chambers, and I have my tax number. But what I did within the Dutch system is that once you have no employees, you don't need to pay a monthly tax. So what I did, I write the tax department explaining that I have no salaries, I don't have no employees within the organization. So can I file my tax once a year, which was accepted. And with the project grants and whatever we do, I just file it once a year so that I show how the funds comes in and out of the organization. We do have a bank account. Everything is legally registered. The government accepts it. It's just that the government doesn't recognize what we do as an educational institute. One of the issues that I had with the government was that the Minister of Education found that I should not have been doing different activities within the schools and having teachers and students participate in different mobilities locally and internationally without the government involvement, because they have noticed and they have take keen notice of how beneficial the programs have been in the last year or two. And for them, it's not nice that they are not being given the credit for it, or they can't take credit for what I've been doing. For me, it doesn't matter whether the government approved what I do or what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't really care because it's not about me, it's not about the recognition, or it's not about the money, but it's about giving something to my community that helps my community to gain a better experience, to help my community to
Mm,
gain more knowledge, to gain better experience.
mm.
And my motive is if the government wants to be a part of it, they know where my office is, they have my number, they can contact me. But for me, I am not stopping what I'm doing,
Yeah.
knowing the benefit that it brings, because somebody has an issue with it.
Okay. I
Of
have to
course.
say that's not a nice experience you have in St. Martin with your government, but I can tell you that in Curacao, both the Ministry of Education as the Ministry of Social Development and Economic Development are sustaining all the projects within the EU funding. So maybe it's time for you to go to the government and explain and talk to them, because they really support us here. So
That's
I
great to
hope you will get the same experience.
I'd like to add from my side that the government is not necessary, because this is a European program. So we are funded by the European Union, and the Dutch national government and also the local governments are no official partners in it. And the national agency, we are no part of the government. We are mandated on behalf of the government to execute the Erasmus Plus program, but we operate independently of the government. So we do have to adhere to the same rules as the government does, but we are no part of it.
No.
So it's not necessary or obligatory for you to have support from your government.
No,
Even
no.
if you don't, you can still apply and we will still help you. So it's great that in Curacao the government is so supportive, but it's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary. Okay. I think we have come to an end. I think it was a very great presentation. Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing so much important issues and examples with us. I hope to hear somewhere in the future that Curacao organization joined your organization, and together you and our organizations work on a mobility or on a other project. And I wish you all the best with your foundation. Marloes also, dankjewel. This was very helpful. I think our audience stayed till now, so it was really interesting.
Yes. Respect for you in the early morning.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so
Thanks
thank you
everyone for
very much.
listening to us, and thank you, Eunice, for giving us the opportunity to share something about the Erasmus program.
Yes.
And yeah, I can't stress it enough. Please get in touch with us if you need any help or if you want to know more about it.
Yeah. And they can subscribe also to your newsletters.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah,
That's a very good
important.
point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Jason, do you have to say something? Want to say something?
Just want to say thank you for having me here. It was a
Okay.
pleasure, and now that I know, I will really indeed contact you all and see what we can do in the future.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.